SEO this week. Welcome everybody to Olympia SEO and another episode of our weekly news roll-up called SEO This Week. This is episode number 18. So without further ado, let's get started. So what are we going to talk about? First, checklists, calendars, SSL certificates, and some tools that you can use that are built into your browsers to make everything a little bit easier for you if you're trying to do SEO on your own. So let's start off with the Small Business Trends website. This is a checklist of essential business technology. Nothing really outstandingly new here. There are some things that you probably should reinforce if you're a business or web developer selling to businesses, or if you're a business owner, something you need to look at closely is make sure that you're taking advantage of mobile and that you have a mobile-friendly website. Now, one thing that makes this really important is Google's splitting, and we've already seen signs that they've done it or started the process, especially in local, between organic, i.e. a desktop rankings, and your mobile rankings. They're two different indexes. And what we're also seeing is the mobile index is getting updated first, and then the desktop index is getting it. It's basically, if I see something go up in the mobile, it'll stay down in the desktop, then it'll go up in the desktop, then it'll go down in mobile, then it'll go down in the desktop. It's a very interesting process, and there's about a lag from what I've seen of a couple days in between the two. I expect this lag to get much bigger. Google's already said that they plan on doing that. How is that going to affect their bottom line? I'd be a little interested to see how long that lasts. Next is mobile apps. We used to actually have a service where we created mobile apps out of our clients' websites. That's all fine and good, but you're paying the development fee on the app stores, which is $99 a year. You're paying for the app itself and then the hosting of the app and all that other stuff, but users weren't using it because business owners weren't promoting it. So really what I would caution you is, yes, getting a mobile app is probably a good idea, but you have to have a plan to promote it. So before you even get it made, know what you want to do with it and then how you're going to promote it and get your staff to engage your users or your customers with it. And then you get on to some payment methods. Let's see, marketing automation for efficiency. You just be careful with automation. People can see that, especially in social. There's a lot of companies that offer automation for social, and then the clients wonder why their engagement and their views and all that stuff has dropped so much. And really, automation tools are a part of that. It's because they're not engaging. They're using stuff to talk about their business, and then people are talking to them. And after a while, they see what's going on, and they cut down on the amount of talking that they're going to do with you and your business on your pages because you're not replying to them or anyone else. So just be careful with automation. And then finally, the last one I want to highlight is the business intelligence. We use business intelligence to drive our decisions based on the data that we get. So in an online marketing sense, your number one business intelligence tool is always going to be your analytics, your traffic analytics, your website, your conversions, and your user flow as it goes through your digital properties. And from, like, let's say Google to your homepage to your contact us page that leads to a phone call. And that's very important to have that stuff. So take advantage of some offerings that are available for you. Like Microsoft SharePoint is here. They have a better one, I think. It's Power BI. You integrate it right with your Google Analytics, and then it has some built-in dashboards in there for analytics to make it really easy for even someone like me who doesn't like math to take all of that information and kind of turn it into something good and actionable. So take advantage of business intelligence, your data collection, know what you're collecting about your customers, your sales points, your products, etc., and see if you can find something to improve your conversions. We're going to stay on the Small Business Trends website now for the next story, and it's called Nearly Half of Small Businesses Expect to Adopt Mobile Apps by 2017. This goes back to what I said about mobile apps before. It's great to adopt a mobile app. I get it. You want to be able to get on a phone. You can get people to engage with you, and they don't even have to go to your website. They can do it right on your mobile app, and it sounds all exciting. But if you're not promoting it, it's just not going to do anything for you. So be very careful about your investments in a mobile app unless you already know what your promotion plan is going to be. So I can't stress that enough for you. Again, I would love to have a mobile app for Olympia SEO, but we won't have a promotion plan. And really, how many people are going to want to hear specifically from us in a mobile application versus the videos or the audios or whatever else that we're doing? So we just really have to balance all of that promotion work and make sure that it makes sense for us. Next, we're going to go to the KISS metrics. This was a really good article about customer retention tactics to improve your sales funnel. Basically, what it's saying is how do you keep them around for as long as possible? And we really have a big deal or a problem with this sometimes, and because we get so focused on the technical aspects of the work that we're doing, especially when we're talking about AdWords promotions and search engine optimization, keywords and numbers and conversion rates, optimization rates, return on investment, and we're so focused on that we fail to think about who's at the other end of the work that we're doing in so much as our customers. How are we talking to them? How are we relaying information? Are we relaying it in language that we understand or language that they'll understand? Or are we doing any efforts to educate them to bring them on board with what we're doing in so much as what they really need to know about their marketing? So customer retention is really important. Some ideas here is create an addictive brand. Basically, this goes into brand name, but really your brand values is what makes an addictive brand. So read that out, and that's pretty good. Communicating with your customers, again, when I talk about that in Olympia SEO, we really have to do a better job of doing that. Personalize your communications as possible, your landing pages as much as possible, all that other stuff. HubSpot's a good tool to use if you're going to use HubSpot for landing pages, and you can personalize things. There's an example on the website here for you to check out. Educate about your product value. This is a good one, especially if you are a services thing, and let's say it's not so obvious of what you're doing. I.e., let's go for an example, an electrician. Where is the value of the work that you're doing? One, again, it's probably code, passing code, using high quality materials, not causing any more damage, having systems in place to replace wiring without having to tear up walls, for example. Those are all good high-end value things. Or if you're if you're selling a course, then what is the purpose of my course? What is the end goal for you as a buyer of that course? And how will we get there? And what makes you different from the other 50 people that are teaching a course on that same exact thing? So educate about your product value. Gamification to make things work a little bit better. You can check this out. Where I quite honestly I don't use a lot of gamification, but it's an interesting concept, and it works for some marketing campaigns. So check that out, and then how to take all that data information you learned and kind of improve your sales funnel. Unfortunately, that last part, the improve your funnel, is kind of just leaves it out there like in a paragraph. So you're not really going to get a lot of information out of that, but you will get some ideas about some customer retention. So it's pretty good just to get the old brain juices flowing. The next website is Practical E-commerce. We're going to like the stuff that comes out on this site. They put some really good information, and it's not like overly repetitive that you can get on a lot of marketing websites. So this is a pretty good website. I enjoy it. This title is Embedding SEO in Your Organization. Here's what it talks about. Let's say you are a business owner and you decide, I want to do search engine optimization. But your vice president of marketing, your vice president of sales, your operations manager, and the guy loading the boxes or selling directly to the customers are not on board with you. You're going to have a hard time with search engine optimization, because you have to, in most cases, businesses don't run as a dictatorship. So you have to get through, let's say you're doing a financial niche, for example. You got to get through lawyers to make sure what you're writing in your content is good, in line. You have to get through your web design guy to make sure that the formatting of the articles are proper. You have to get through your search engine optimization guy who wants to focus specific free for a specific keyword, but is it going to change the stuff that the lawyer has to say? So in short, this article is saying before you take on an SEO campaign and you have more than one decision maker in this process, then you need to involve all of them, get them on board, and have them all understand the value clearly without any more reservations before you start. Because take it from me, if you have one person in an organization that is a decision maker that has reservations when you start, you're going to be fighting that one person the entire time and make your work experience is just going to be horrible. As an agency owner, it's nothing worse than having to repeat over and over again to someone who really doesn't want you there in the first place of why what you're doing is important and why it needs to be done. And they have the ear of the C-level decision makers way more than you do. So it's just going to make your life harder, and you're just going to end up turning in. You're going to convert a customer, you're going to get them, you're going to keep them for a couple months, and they're going to backdoor you and destroy your reputation or your ability to achieve results. And then you're going to lose out in the end. It's just going to cost you unnecessary dollars. So be careful about that. So read this article. It's really, really good. It's called Embedding SEO into Your Organization. Next is Search Engine Journal. It is a 2017 marketing calendar and a free template to get you started. So it's actually really interesting. The calendar itself is a spreadsheet. It's nothing crazy. I can show you here in the video. If you're on the audio, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to find the video and read it. But here it is. And it's just you break down in the quarters what you're going to focus on, and you can do that for the year if you have that kind of business and foresight, or you can just kind of go by quarter. Like this quarter I want to do this quarter I want to do that, this quarter I want to do that. It's pretty good, and it's not really complicated. What you see is what you get here. There's only those columns, and then you just kind of fill in the blanks and then put that up, and then there you go. That's your quote unquote marketing calendar. I would actually break this down a little bit more right into the month so that you know what's going on. Especially you can tie this into with your editorial calendars. If you want a little quick pro tip, we use Google Calendar, and it does pretty much the same thing as what this Google Sheet is doing. And you can take several calendars and put them all together, and it'll bar out and do this stuff for you. Our editorial calendars in Google Calendar is tied in with our daily calendars, our webinar calendars. Everything is all there in a one quick view, and it's all color coded. So check that out. But also check out this free marketing calendar that she's giving away. It's pretty good. And then there's also a list of holidays that you want to promote, which is the crux of what this article is about. More so than the 2017 lead off that the title suggests. Basically what she's saying is originate or develop marketing campaigns around the specific holidays through in your market, like Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day, etc. And there's a couple hundred different holidays, but not everyone's going to market for Hunt for Happiness Week from January 15th to January 21st. It might be pretty cool. You can kind of think of something, maybe a mobile app to get you to, have you sponsor and do one of those, what's that called, where you're hunting for objects and like a treasure hunt kind of thing. That may be a pretty good marketing idea, and you just kind of sponsor that. So just think of some things that you want to do for 2017, put them on that broad general calendar, and then as you go through the quarters or maybe even the months, you can break them down onto a Google Calendar And this is what I'm going to do on these days, and kind of mark your whole time out, and you save yourself a lot of time instead of winging it. Winging it gets a little rough. Trust me, we tried to do that in the beginning. Search Engine Land is the next article in this comprehensive guide to SSLs. I think this is really timely. There's a lot of other guides out there, but this article is actually written so well that I think it's really worth mentioning again. SSLs are the future. You're going to see that Google is switching over and requiring sites that collect passwords and like user information, credit cards. If you take a payment gateway, you definitely have to have SSL. But if you're asking for passwords too in Chrome, they're going to show you insecure if you don't have an SSL. One thing that this article did say that we completely disagree with is that there's free SSL certificates that are available, and the article said don't use them because it's going to show that you're not trusted. That is false. Google launched Let's Encrypt, and Let's Encrypt is used by several hosting services, already built in to allow you to redirect your domain to your host. They turn it in, put your SSL on your certificate, you build your site, and you're good to go. So if your host is giving you a free SSL, they're using Let's Encrypt, and Let's Encrypt is free and it works. So the advice here saying not to use them because they're going to send that these connections as untrusted is not true. And my guess is whoever she found that information has probably installed the SSL incorrectly. However, for the rest of the article, it's really good to learn about the different versions. I'll go over these really quickly. It's the domain validated SSL. It's usually the free one. It's the lowest one. And then you can take that free one also and get organization validated. It's basically they kind of validate who you are. It's a real person, has a name, address, etc. If you're a business owner, this is probably the one you really want. So you can validate you own the domain, that you're located in this place, in this state, in this country, and it doesn't take any time at all to set up. And then there's the EV certificate. These ones are a little bit more expensive. Okay, they're a lot more expensive, but you get some things like labels you can put on your website, some trust factor stuff, and all that stuff that helps with conversions. If you are an e-commerce site, just go ahead and get this one. It's going to cost you some money. Put that into your building costs as you're lining out, building your website. This is the one you want because you're going to secure your site more to take care of your customers, which is a good thing. You're going to have all of those legitimate trust signals all over your site, the verified business, site secure, all that other stuff that you get with this certificate. And you're not going to have any problems with Google down the road. So I'll leave you with that. The next article is Yoast and the site link search box in Yoast SEO. So if you're using Yoast SEO, which is a WordPress plugin, I believe they have a Drupal and Magento plugin version coming out soon, if it's not out already. You already seen a function, you already have something built in that does this. Basically what it's called is a site link search box. So if you're searching for your brand, let's say you're searching for Olympia SEO and Google allows it or wants to show it, it's going to show a search bar inside of the search results that when someone could type in, let's say Olympia SEO, and then they want to search for web design. They will type in web design in the search bar and it'll open a search page on my website with all the articles about web design on olympiaseo.com. It's a pretty cool feature. It is not guaranteed. Just because you have the site link search box JavaScript or schema code on your website does not mean it's just going to show up. It doesn't work that way. Google will show it when they want to show it. They can show it today, not tomorrow, not for next month, and then all of a sudden for 3 days it shows up and it just goes away again. So just understand that having the code there is good because in case they decide to show it for your brand, then you're good to go. The bigger the brand, the more likely you are to have a search box. Just the way Google is, and that's how they work. So anticipate that as you build your websites and you build your company. May not even see it for a year or two, and then all of a sudden, just one day you see it and you're just happy as can be. So be good with that. So basically, the article is showing you is how to verify that you have the code in place, the markup that you need to give the example code that you can copy paste into your site. If you're not using WordPress, for example, you can copy paste this into your CSS and head, and you'll be good to go. And then some other tips about using the code and why you want to use it. So again, it's just another opportunity to reach your customers and provide more value. So I would just take the time and go ahead and add it now. And then if and when they show your search box in the search results, you're already set. Okay, we're going to go back to search engine land. This is Chrome Developers Tools for SEO, 10 ways to use these browser features for your SEO audits. This is actually pretty cool. We use the developer tools for some things, mainly the mobile emulator that's built in. We'll get into that later. But for this other stuff, really really didn't pay attention to what was going on. So first it tells you how to open developers tools, and then it talks to checking your page's main content to see how it's rendering. In the elements section, version of what's being shown and what's in the code and what Google is seeing is pretty interesting. You look for hidden stuff. There's a line that says display none. Is there a whole bunch of that's being shown? What that basically means is it's loading a whole bunch of CSS and then saying it's not there, not to display it, in which case, why are you showing it in the first place? Big deal if you're a WordPress user and you got a new theme. Maybe it's a little bit bloated with some code that you don't want. You can find that and see if the developer will remove it for you or if it's even a needed element. And then you can verify your alt descriptions. That's interesting. If you get in the habit of making alt tags for your images right off the bat, you're good. If you're just buying a brand new theme, oftentimes those alt tags aren't marked, and then you're going to need to go ahead and search through them and find them. The no index and canonicalization configuration in the pages and the resources, you can see what those are set up as within the developer tools. HTTP status for header configurations, very good information. Validate your mobile emulating. This is what we use it for. You can actually go down there and pick the device. Here's the image of what it looks like. You pick the device that you want to emulate, and then it'll show you that inside of the developer tools. Really handy tool right there. There's also a mobile plugin for Chrome that does it as well, and it'll change it right on the fly for you. So there's a couple of options. That's really good, especially if you want to see if your web developer made a responsive website for you that's going to actually look good on several different platforms. And one is near and dear to our heart: the page load time and identify speed issues, which is in the network's connections. And you want to figure out where your user agents are, and then you can see load times and find out time to first byte and see where there might be hangups. I.e., on our homepage, we have that Vimeo video. That was a hang-up for a while. Their CDN was causing problems, so it was a hang-up. We don't want to take it down because we want to offer that value that's in the video, but we just know that we're going to have to sacrifice some of our load time in order to have it. But as long as our time to first byte is good, it's not going to hurt us SEO-wise. So that is, balance that stuff out and look at it and see what's going on. And then some render blocking stuff. There's more information on this article. You can check it out for yourself. Again, it's really good. I'd actually bookmark it until you're handy with these developer tools, and you can do this on a page-by-page basis. Again, not something I want to do if I was doing a really large site, but if it's a 5-10 page site, and go through here, use my checklist, and knock it all out. Not too hard. And then Search Engine Journal, we're back at them, and this will be our last site. It's about content marketing for small business, and does it really work? This is a really good question. Does it really work for small businesses? Does it work for a plumber versus electrician versus a plasterer or a guy who does construction and puts pavers out? Those kind of businesses, honestly, when you're looking for those services, you're going to look for pictures of previous work, reviews, and the way to contact you. So, but there are some DIYers out there that might want to know how much space you put in between your pavers when you're putting out a new driveway, that kind of stuff. So you want to take advantage of those things to generate traffic. Is it necessarily always going to generate you customers? Probably not. But it will increase your brand recognition and your brand authority on Google, and increase your rankings for those terms that are bringing you customers, because your authority is increased over your competition. And then it will boost your rankings and make it easier for you to make more money and see a greater return on investment from your search engine optimization efforts. There are some tools here that are mentioned: HubSpot, the Create Content Marketing Institute references, and some other stuff. So I checked this out, and then there's some examples about how other businesses are using it, i.e. Close Schedule, that's a marketing calendar, and stuff that they did. Groove, some stuff that they did. Not those really, in my opinion, aren't really small businesses. Dollar Shave Club, not a small business, but then you get down into this river pools and spas, and it talks about what they did. They have 20 people, but it is still a small business. So if you're a service provider who does local businesses and that kind of stuff, or plumbing, electrician, fence building, all that kind of stuff, the plumber riverside pool spas are really more applicable than the other examples. So that's it. This has been episode this week, episode number 18. Episode this week, SEO this week, episode 18. And I want to thank you very much for listening and being a weekly viewer, listener, or reader. And I appreciate all your efforts and handing us some great sites to look at. We are still on the lookout for more. We're actually going to dump a few sites because they're getting a little bit bossy in our feeds. Search Engine Journal, we probably keep maybe, but there's another couple other ones. Search Engine Land we might keep. We're gonna see, because we don't want to show the same sites over and over again. You can just go ahead and go to those sites yourself, right? So we're going to find some more sites. If you have some that you like to provide for us, please leave them in the comments below. We'll definitely check them out, and if they meet our standards and are providing good information for you and everyone else, we'll add them to and highlight them on the next few episodes. Again, SEO This Week, episode 18. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for listening.